Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pocket Knockers. My name's Mike, and this is Ed.
All right.
Pocket topic.
Pocket topic.
Pocket topic.
Pocket topic.
Pocket
Pocket
topic.
topic.
Today, we are kicking off with a new series. I know you all needed another series from us, but just be thankful you're getting content because, well, running out of ideas. We have, Ed actually has developed, I'm putting it on your fault, Edward.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We're going to call it a pocket topic. We're still doing the Hot Pockets. Indeed, you probably already watched one. And we're going to do those monthly now.
We wanted to talk about things that aren't really current events. Well, they are, but they're not like hitting the news right now. So
Something like that.
Yeah, it is. It's like things that we're talking, that people have been talking about for a long time, but it's not really like breaking news as such. It's an ongoing scenario. It's more on a positive thing. It's just a load of ranting, really. And we've been talking recently about EVs, electronic vehicles, and where we're going with them. For me, it's a positive idea, but I think there's a lot of work needed on it, really, and I hope that we're heading in the right direction. How about yourself, Michael?
Oh, is that what you got to say?
Well,
These
no.
really are short form.
I'm starting it off because I know that you've probably got loads to say, and then
Look, and look, just to clarify, I'm sure most people watching will know that I'm a big car guy, especially my older stuff, petrol-powered things that make nice smells and noises and things like that. But I do want it to be clear that I am actually in favour of electric cars. I think they do definitely have a purpose, a place on the road in people's hands. And as Ed said, there's definitely more development that needs to be done in both the technology of the vehicles themselves to make the price point come down. Also the charging stations and the way they're actually run, the amount of time it takes to charge it, things like that. Because they are definitely usable. If you live in a city, they're absolutely fine. You can buzz around town all day, come home, trickle charge it overnight. You never even need to even think about filling it up or have any range anxiety whatsoever. If I wanted to travel to Ed's house, what is it, a couple 100 miles? I'd be able to make it, I should imagine, in a modern EV. But I would then have to just charge it at Ed's house. And that's like, imagine that conversation. Oh, Ed, just going to charge, it's going to cost you, 40 or 50 quid. I don't know how much it is now, but just going to charge, is that all right?
the big thing at the moment is as well with the infrastructure is because lots of it say it's at a service station. And people go, oh yeah, it's cheaper. One, it's not that much cheaper anymore. The price of both, energy, electric, diesel, and petrol, it's all going up. But when you get to the service station, then currently, depending on the charging grid, if it's a fast charger or not, you'll end up going into the service station rather than just filling up and pissing off. And you'll have to, you'll end up spending money on stuff while you wait 45 minutes at least to get a few more percent on it. And then the other problem is of people who they will park up at the charger, say not in a service station but in an urban area, and then they'll fuck off and do their shopping. So they've been at 100% for ages, and you're sat in your car and you want to use it, and you can see that it's completed because the light's green, and you just get annoyed. Now, interestingly, Tesla, I believe, they have actually implemented something to stop that, where people get charged a parking fee after they've hit 100%. So if they stay there, then they incur extra fee for using that spot.
Okay.
Which I think is a good idea, because people wouldn't fill the car up at a petrol station and just leave the nozzle there and fuck off.
I agree. I think that's even though it seems like a bit shitty just to get more money out of people, I can see that being a thing, and if you do only have like 10% to go in your car and that's going to take 10 minutes to do, then just sit in your car for 10 minutes, play a bit of Witcher 3 on your fucking iPad Tesla screen, and then go and park up for, your couple hours you're going to be shopping or whatever. The biggest problem the world faces is the actual amount of, things being mined to put in the cars. There are mines that you can see from out of space. that are just to get the cobalt and lithium required to build the batteries. The batteries only last for between 5 and 10 years, whereas a combustion engine car, well, I mean, I've got, as I'm sure you know, and Ed, you know, Ed, I've got a BMW that's got, that's 20 years old, and I've got a Scimitar that's 50 years old. So in order for the Scimitar to have made that, if that was an electric car, I would have had to have made, well, I mean, maybe between 3 and 4 battery replacements if you were to go back to the dealership to get that done. I know Tesla won 18 grand.
Near where I am, they're going to do like a battery recycling plant.
Yeah.
They're building those up, which, people are praising it because it's going to bring loads of jobs. But I don't know.
Great.
That's great, but it's still going to cost a lot of fucking money. It's not just replacing a car battery. The bit that concerns me is, how old's your car, Michael?
Shall we just go for BMW because that's more reasonable?
Yeah,
20 years old.
20 years old. Your car is 20 years old.
Yeah.
Now, the problem I have with this is it's still fairly new, and it all relies on software and hardware, not just mechanics. It sounds like a silly comparison, but let's take a look at the USB-C cable. It's come a long way to become a USB-C cable, and it's probably not its final form. It will change over time. Now, what's to say that cars won't be made redundant either via software updates, because they do need the software, so you link it to your phone so you can use the phone to then charge your car at a parking point. You can't just plug it in and go off you go. A lot of it, you have to confirm it via an app to make the payment go through, because not all of them, but that is the way it is. And the other one is, do you know Anderson? This is just an example I know of.
Oh, sorry. Like Anderson is in the company who make plugs?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Anderson, they have their EV charging points. Right. And a lot of them now, they've stopped providing updates for the app that comes with the home chargers. So to stop people from being able to just use your home charger and plug it into their car, you have to confirm it via an app.
Okay,
and some of them, they're saying we don't support that charger anymore.
So that's redundant hardware.
Yeah. This is the problem we've got. And if you look at it like that, your car's lasted you 20 years, and it's probably had how many previous owners? 3? 4?
I think actually a few.
But
yeah.
But you're not going to be able to get that because it depends on the... it seems to be sealed around a guarantee. And by doing that, if you think about it, apart from the fossil fuel usage of your vehicle, you are preventing waste by reusing a car.
Yeah, and the other thing is, whilst we're on this topic of sort of hardware and longevity of an electric vehicle, obviously you don't have the necessary sort of breakdown issues. There's so many parts of an engine, pulleys, gaskets, everything like that, that can go to fail. Sensors, primarily, I think we all probably are aware of, will fail, and that's it, your car doesn't start, or indeed a bill is required. All those things, all those bushes, those mechanical bearings and all those bits, they're metal, they're rubber. They're things that come from the earth, that are renewable and recyclable, and they're, 15 to 100 pounds for a bearing, depending on where it goes or whatever, or what manufacturer it's from. And a mechanic can replace it in a workshop. Going on what I'd said a bit earlier, I said that the big problem to the world was this resources and everything like that. The biggest problem to me personally, as a car guy in the car community, is people thinking they are better than you because they have I'm better than you. I've got an electric car. I'm saving the planet. I'm doing all this stuff. I mean, you're literally not. It's a different, it's balancing out the medium of fuel, isn't it? If you do longer journeys and you're a truck or a tractor, you use diesel. If you're a performance vehicle, then you use petrol. And if you're a little city runabout, then you use electric. I think that is where it sits currently with regards to the fuels and the best way to spend them, if that makes sense.
I'm not going to say go alongside saying people are better than anybody else or the way they feel, but I do get that. Once again, that's why I think a lot of people have this attitude of going, I've parked here, I'm going to charge here, I'm going to go to the shops, I'm going to be gone for 3 hours and I'm going to come back. Because they don't, some people don't. But then again, you get the same with petrol drivers.
You get someone in a Range Rover looking down on everyone else.
Yeah.
But sorry, my point is that I would say most people who buy an electric vehicle would probably think that they're doing better for the environment and thus are a better person than someone who has a petrol vehicle.
You know, Flora and I have a guilty pleasure with another YouTuber. And this YouTuber, he's got a Porsche Taycan, I believe it is.
Yeah, Taycan, yeah.
Yeah, and he got that, and he was so excited by it. He was like, because he thinks he's a bit of a tech nut, and now he's constantly, I think he's doing it because it's a trigger for people at the moment.
Feel free to shout him out.
The Mac Master, okay?
Yeah, he's I hate the guy, but I do understand why people watch him. It's a bit of shit viewing.
He's a lot of his stuff. It's triggers and stuff. But I mean, to be honest, he's a questionable character. But I mean, bloody hell, his editing's good. But yeah, he's got one, and lots of his videos at the moment are EVs. It's you know, they're tricking you all. Why aren't these people who are telling you to use an EV? Why are they driving around in Jaguars and Land Rovers and things? Sometimes he says things that are right, and then other ones the big thing he's got at the moment is he's talking about if you own an EV, you don't pay road tax.
Yeah, or a car that's over 40 years old.
Yeah, that's true. Or a car that's over 40 years old. But you don't pay road tax. And now he's saying, I told you, because now, soon, I can't remember what year, but there's soon EVs you'll have to pay road tax for.
Yeah, of course.
And the point of this is because it was an incentive to get people to adopt to an electric vehicle. They want to say, do it, because they know that the infrastructure's early. They know that it's new technology, and they know it's going to be difficult, so they're trying to provide an incentive for people to do it. So in a way, these people who are going out there buying an electronic vehicle, listen to me, but the people going out there buying it right now, spending a lot on a brand new car that they're going to have lots of problems with. They're beta testers. That's what they are, because
essentially, yeah,
because we don't have a full infrastructure yet. Like if you look at a lot of the grid served network, there's so much of it that's down at the moment. It's just ridiculous. So that's why a lot of this range anxiety is, because you might go, okay, here's my next one, but it's broken. I mean, lots of the time they do report faults on the app, but not all the time. There was one where this Mac Master, he was up in Scotland, and he drove from one side to the other of Scotland, and honestly, it was very touch and go.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't obviously. I hope that the issues he came up against were real. I know he likes to maybe stage some bits here and there.
He does stage some of it. Well, I believe he stages some of it, but there are bits where you know it's real. It's like he's not. There are parts where he goes up to a charger and it looks like it's working, and then it stalls, or it has to sync with your vehicle and it doesn't sync. A lot of it is the other. I'm trying not to go off track, but Porsche, what they did is, because he had to service it because they had a firmware upgrade for his car. Yeah. He bought it in, and then I'm trying to remember which feature it was, but the near vehicle unlocking, I think it was.
Oh yeah, okay.
It had gone. Apparently, what it was is because when he purchased the car, he wasn't supposed to have that feature. Yeah. So it's one of these ones like, you know how BMW do now.
Yeah, I didn't want to start that conversation. Yeah.
But
subscription charges for
so that's what it was.
Stuff,
So it's already in your vehicle, and now he doesn't have it.
Oh, that's ghastly.
And he's really actually fucked off with Porsche.
Yeah, there's I spend most of my time on YouTube watching car stuff, or indeed gaming stuff, but mostly car stuff. And there's loads of channels, one of which is Car Throttle, and they did a video. No, it wasn't Car Throttle. It was Car Wow, where they had to drive a certain distance in an electric car. Sounds very similar to the video you're describing there from McMaster. And he literally just came into the service station with a few miles. In fact, I think it said 0 miles for the past 5 miles. So he was really, I was going to say running on fumes, but I don't know what that would be in electrics, running on milliamps. So yeah, he pulls up and he's like, fuck's sake, he couldn't even back it in because he was afraid that it would run out of charge. So he literally just nosed it into the space and then put the charger on, and yeah, sure enough, it was broken. So yeah, he pushed it to a different one. But I know these things are, all going around everywhere. The technical issues, there's another channel for the car people out there who want more of this sort of watching, is the Smoking Tire, massive channel, but he has got a Ford Mustang Mach-E, so that's the big SUV type. I mean, the worst thing they did was call it a Mustang variant.
I've had a few conversations with people about this. They look at it and go,
Yeah.
look at that, and then it's like one, what have they done to it, and two, what have they done to it? It's like there's two levels of fuck.
I'm sure it's a fine vehicle, but just why ruin the Mustang name? Anyway, he has this car. He didn't actually buy it. It's on loan, I think, because he's like a car journalist. So he has it on loan from them as a long-time loaner. And for the first few months, it kept having issues and issues and issues. And Ford assured him that it was not to do with their car, like no one else was having these issues. It just so happens that one of the biggest journalists that we've lent the car to is having all these issues. So they took it back, and I can't remember, it's not a quote from the Smoking Tire, but I believe what he said was words to the effect of they basically just reinstalled the whole operating system, all the firmware and everything, and it's been fine ever since, and it's back to being one of the most reliable EVs on the market apparently. But this is the new era, isn't it? It's firmware, it's operating system, it's glitches, it's bugs, it's hacking, it's all of these sorts of things. Even on some of my cars before, remote central locking, things like this. These are all the things that go. I already said sensors on my BMW, for instance. They're luckily not an issue yet, but I bet you when problems do start happening, probably quite soon because it's getting on a bit. Probably one of those things to go will be sensors. You know what hasn't gone wrong on the Scimitar? Central locking, gatekeeping, software, or sensors. I think if you want to be a proper eco warrior and design and build a car that hurts the planet less, make it out of either long-term plastics, like a plastic body shell that's used out of recyclable materials, a nice, steel, things like this, things that can just rust away. And
do you know what's just come into my head?
Yeah, go on.
The Sinclair C5.
God.
That's the answer.
Well, we're not talking about personal electric vehicles. That'll be a different one. But I honestly think, and I'm not just saying it because my Scimitar ticks a lot of those boxes, but the more simple a car is, the less wiring that's involved, the less technology development, just normal. You got a key, you put it in the ignition, you twist it. Sure, there can be a computer that verifies that your key is, the one that you have. We don't want to go back to Scimitar sort of stuff where you could literally just put a flathead screwdriver in it, probably, and start it. You want some technology there, but strip it back, go the other way.
But it's all about safety, Michael. That's the thing. It's all about safety.
That's what insurance is for, man.
But yeah, you're right. But that's what they say. They say it's all about safety. We have sensors there, so you know that there's something wrong. So you get your vehicle sorted. But it's going further that way now. So also now it's coming down to like unsupported software and things where I think if we're going to push forward with EVs, then people they need to review their business model. Once again, going back to this Porsche Taycan thing, when he was complaining about it, the reason he keeps doing it is because he knows it triggers people. Because loads of people there going, you should have bought a Tesla. You should have bought... That's not the fucking answer. He bought a car. No. He spent a lot of money on a car.
No. And if you go on YouTube and type in Tesla issues, you're going to see millions of videos of people having issues, both with build quality, software issues, and not to mention, issues with the company as, a general whole. But the other thing as well that no one's talking about, and this might be going off piste a little bit, but it's worth mentioning, is Tesla is the only car manufacturer to sell cars directly through themselves, not through dealerships, and not have a brick and mortar shop. If you want a Tesla, you go on the Tesla website and you order one. That's how it works. So there's that difference as well, because there's no markup on them. You know what I mean? The dealer's not trying to make any money. You spec it right from the get-go. It gets built by the manufacturer. And by that, what I mean is, it used to be that if you wanted the sporty version, then actually the dealership would put the spoilers on and the, thing, and they would swap the head unit out for the nicer one or whatever it might be. But it's all done with the manufacturer, which I guess is peace of mind. It would be good if they could build the cars properly, though.
People go there with problems, and it's just like, as you said, with sensors, where you people have cars going into limp mode because there's a diagnostic fault, things like that. And so those things already exist, but now it comes to the point where your dashboard won't even start. You're totally reliant on your vehicle to sync with a charger in order to fuel it up. I think that we need to move away from fossil fuels. Definitely. I think this is my final roundup is we need to move away from fossil fuels, and we need to look at alternatives. EVs is an alternative, but there's a problem with the business model there, where people are going to spend a fortune. There's I don't think there's going to be much option when it comes to pre-owning vehicles. You've got battery health. It's going to cost so much more than just trying to do a few bits to get your car through an MOT. And the other problem, I think, is the infrastructure is shagged. Now, we've been told that the infrastructure is going to be so much better in a couple of years' time, and that's when they're going to start road tax for EVs, because they think that the infrastructure will be ready by then. But I just think it's too expensive to be able to adopt. So there are lots of people out there going, oh, you get an EV, save the world. And it's so simple, but it's not, because these people have probably got God knows how much money, or a cracking credit rating to get finance.
Yeah, right.
And it's not that simple. They need to find a way to make it efficient for every person to be able to purchase an electric vehicle if they want it to work.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I am with you, actually. I think fossil fuels are not the way forward. They can't be. We're running out of them. We have more than, we may be led to believe right now. The government's literally forcing us to think that EVs are better. To buy one, buy it now. Don't worry, the electricity is cheap and there's no tax. That's the way, literally with everything. When diesel vehicles were first put on the road, I think Margaret Thatcher was at power, and she said, don't worry, we're never going to tax diesel. It's going to be much cheaper, because it's literally a byproduct of making petroleum gas. So,
well, wasn't there a period where, because everyone said that diesels are so much better,
that was actually literally less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was, and there was there was a big fucking fine over it, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's two different things there. There's yes, indeed, they were saying get diesel vehicles because you get more miles to the gallon.
Oh, it was because it's cleaner. They said it's cleaner.
Yes. Yeah. Even though there were black clouds of smoke coming out the back of them, you don't have to be a scientist to work that out. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There was also what they called was it Dieselgate, or it was Volkswagen primarily got caught with it, but apparently they were all doing it, where it would detect when it was in a diagnostic mode and simply tune it down so it didn't burn as much diesel. And then as soon as it was off, it burnt more diesel like it should do to achieve the figures that it did when it came out the factory and killed the planet. So yes, I do understand that we need to move away from fossil fuels. I think personally that synthetic fuels is going to be the long-term way forward. Let's think about it this way, and look, this is all hypotheses, but let's think about it this way. Let's say that electric cars were actually amazing, great, cheap. Ed and I were going to buy one. Everyone was going to buy one. We were going to get rid of all our old cars, throw them into a field somewhere, and not use any of those combustion engines, R&D or anything like that, and we're all just going to buy new cars. Is it possible that the planet can not only provide us with all the chemicals and everything like that required to sustain such orders, but also, is it really that sustainable to literally just get rid of all the old cars? Or is it better to come up with a burning fuel that we could put in those engines to make them function, last for longer, and, well, drive them into the grounds if need be? But, you get my point. I think that that's the better way to do things. It's not just about resources, is it? It's about how it impacts the environment and pollution and things like that as well. Yeah, right. Yeah. And sorry, you said about recycling plants for
Yeah.
lithium batteries. That's great, and that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a one-to-one thing. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think they get the cobalt back from the battery, but not the lithium, or it's the other way round.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, you're going to have to build the building. You're going to have to keep the lights on. You're going to have machinery. All this has to be made. Everything needs to.
They
exist,
are.
You know.
I can't remember if it's. I think it's Rolls-Royce. Possibly that are doing a plant near me, and they want to use as much renewable energy as possible. So solar, wind power, things like that. They want to be able to try and make it, so it's a greener place. It's not going to power the whole thing, but
No, I mean, I hope they achieve most of it. You know,
but if you think about that, then maybe I don't know whether other factories going to shut down because I don't know. But the point is, to work on things, you're going to have to cut out fossil fuels first. No doubt about it. And it is the way forward, but no one can afford it. So people are going to stick with petrol or diesel vehicles because of it. And although people go, "Oh, you're a petrol head, Mike," and you'll say, "Yes, I am," but it's an enthusiasm for it. It's an enthusiasm for it. It's an enthusiasm for it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same way that people go down Severn Valley and watch the steam trains. You don't expect to see steam trains everywhere just because you like a steam train.
Yeah.
There will be a time and a place for it. And I think if we use fossil fuels responsibly, then it's okay because that's what people have been using fossil fuels not en masse for God knows how long, for centuries. It's just because we're using it and just we're thinking it grows on trees.
Yeah, so just to sum up, Ed's synopsis is get on a horse, and mine is kill the planet.
Yeah, that's right. No, it is. We need to work on it, but how can we work on it if we can't afford it? And it's not It's just not viable.
I honestly, I sense that you're. Have you looked into synthetic fuels much?
Not so much, no.
I suggest you do, my love.
Yeah.
So Porsche have made synthetic fuel. They've done it. They've produced it. It's nitrogen based. It's literally water into petrol.
Oh no, I have heard of this. Yeah.
The problem is that you need a sub-zero massive tank to do it with, and it needs a building next to a petrol station in order to produce it. So there's that issue. But that is within 2 years of development. Electric cars have been in development, since before petrol cars, actually. But I think actually that will be the end game, and you're reusing the older vehicles. And I'm not talking even just from an enthusiastic scimitar point of view. I'm talking about you keep your Volkswagen up going. You don't need to buy another car, and you can still buzz around in that.
By the sounds of it, just by you saying it and then me quickly looking it up, I think I ended up on a Bosch website. The idea of synthetic fuel.
Gonna get a drill.
Yeah, Bosch. Are you talking about vehicles? I was thinking of my power tools. That would be a way forward if there's a way to be able to continue using vehicles the way they are, because you can just get something that's bog standard. And if you want the great thing about mobile phones is this is why I hate Android Auto. Android Auto, and I'm going way off here, but they have stopped. They used to be able to run Android Auto on your mobile phone.
Okay.
They've cut that out. You can't use it on your mobile phone anymore because they want you to use Android Auto built in.
Okay.
But the great thing about Android Auto was you could just fucking stick the phone on your dashboard, and you just got it there, just like a nice fancy dashboard. You could use any old fucking car. If they stop you from using, I hate software in vehicles.
Me too. I hate it on fixed things, on vehicles, TVs, fridges. Like, what the fuck? They never update it. It's always sluggish. It doesn't have a processor fast enough. I know that some of the EVs do, like the Tesla, for instance. I know Elon's just released the thing where you can play video games and everything on it. That's great. For how long?
And for how much?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even consider that. Is it a monthly thing? There's so many things to go on.
So many people end up tied on one contract. They want a contract for a phone, and the phone does the job. They don't want to end up spending a stupid amount on software. And let's face it, if you're buying a car the car is effectively hardware at this point. The only way you can upgrade that is to upgrade the vehicle. You don't want to fucking do that.
The other thing, and this will, I think we should make the final point,
Yeah.
or at least conversation starter point, is the law and legalities about using a touchscreen whilst driving. The law says you are not even allowed to touch Google Maps. You're not allowed to touch any of that, even if it's built in now. Even if you do have a Tesla with a big iPad in the middle of your center console, you're not allowed to interact with that whilst the car is in motion. Now, Ford, in their Lightning, has indeed a big fucking screen like the Tesla, but in the middle of the screen is a twisty knob. And that's how you navigate through the menus. The other thing as well, I mean, using phones have come a very long way, and I think are the best touchscreen interfaces available to humans currently. But car interfaces, when you're scrolling left to right on the menus and stuff, it's sometimes jittery. It doesn't pick your finger up. It's not a one-to-one either. Like, I'm going to try and display this, but like if you're scrolling this way, your menu will actually go slower than your fingers moving.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're literally moving the object. So like you have to look at it and you have to look at it to confirm, okay, yeah, my seat warmer is on now, or, whatever it might be.
I think it's down to, is it down to like the user experience or the quality, the quality testing? These people out there, is it just because they're looking for the quality of the vehicle and the driving experience, and they go,
yeah,
I can start it, everything works. Software.
Yeah, it passes an MOT, it's great.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, who cares about the software?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, we've strayed away from...
Are we summarising this with, don't buy an EV, buy a phone?
And ride a horse, for God's sake! Cue animal protesters.
I think in the end of the day, it's your decision. If you want to buy an EV, brilliant,
Exactly,
good for you.
yeah.
If you can afford it, and good on you. Honestly, good on you, because you are doing something good. But also, if you don't want to, we can clearly understand why you wouldn't want to, because it sounds too expensive and it sounds stressful.
Yeah, and my synopsis or roundup is, look, there are some good ones out there. There are really good. The Porsche Taycan that McMaster's got is actually one of the few, if I were bloody rich enough, that I would actually consider going for. It's a really nice car, really nice interior. I think it looks great.
Yeah, interior is nice. It does look nice. The problem he's had with it is he drives down the motorway and his dashboard would suddenly switch off, and it looks like, the Windows 7, Windows 10, little blue loading circle.
Yeah.
It just gets that pop up on the screen. Everything's gone. He can't control it. He doesn't know what's happening. So the car's
illegal at that point because it's not got any speedo or anything like that.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the speedo section. It might just be the center console, possibly the speedo section as well. I don't know, because they're not like, it's not one long dashboard.
To continue my synopsis, I think if you ideally, like, there's little cars like the Honda E I really like. It's got a bit of character to it. It's a really nice little city car, things like this. I reckon that would be a really nice, sort of grab. But even that's 35 grand when you can get a Toyota Yaris or a Ford Fiesta for a quarter of that maybe. But I think that if you really had the money and you wanted to buy an EV, that's the use case for one. It's a little city car that you drive around, trickle charge at home in your driveway or garage, and you never have to touch a petrol station again. In fact, if you were to fully charge the car and you literally just did the shops and back, then you may not need to charge it for months at a time. But I think, to be honest with you, if you a performance car driver, or indeed, someone who does a mixture of long and short driving a petrol engine, if you do mainly miles, or indeed you're a truck driver, then it's diesel. And until they sort the infrastructure and stuff like that out, and by the time they have done that, I'm pretty sure synthetic fuels will be on their way. And then the government will just brush this under the carpet like it never fucking happened. And then there'll be not only loads of quarries built in the planet because of all the cobalt and lithium, but now also landfills filled with toxic chemicals and everything like that from the disposed cars. And we haven't talked about car fires or anything like that either yet. But I think we will stop there.
You kind of get where we're going with it.
They are very safe.
Apart from the fire.
But the fire's negative. But the actual NCAP rating of most electric cars is just amazing.
Look it up. I mean, we didn't look any of this up. We're just going off what we've heard and read, and that's it. I mean, if you're interested, look it up. If you've got any thoughts on it, why don't you comment about it? I think we're either or, really, aren't we? We're a case of we don't hate them, but we don't like them. But we know that we know where people are trying to go with it. But also, I'm concerned people are just profiteering off it. They know that
100%.
They know that you can
definitely.
do it.
I would like to round this off, Ed, if it's okay, by saying 10 months ago I did release a video on Tiresome, literally about this conversation. Lots of the points we've just covered and chatted about. There are some on there that we haven't, and this was actually before the electric prices went through the roof and everything. And I predicted that, they would start taxing them, because it's inevitable.
And there's a link at the end of the video.
I'll put it down below, downstairs in the basement.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been good, man. It's been.
Do you want to tell people how long this video is supposed to be?
It was supposed to be 15 minutes. We're recording now at 42.
But we're going to trim a lot down, but it's still not going to be 15.
No, maybe 40. Right. See you later, everyone.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's the first time I've ever done that. I feel sick.